Where exactly were you born? What do you remember of your little childhood growing up?
I was actually born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, by my grandmother.
At what time did you realize that you were going to concentrate around elderly people?
Because we like to basically teach people how to age with intention.
Tell me about this small talk.
Just say hello.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us in today's episode of the Obehi Podcast. Here in the Obehi Podcast, we talk a lot about storytelling because we believe the power of storytelling. We believe in our story, our lived experiences, so that if you are a founder, you are a business owner, you would have heard me say a number of occasions that your story is your superpower. So when you own it, you don't have any competition. So today I have Yvonne with me, who is going to be sharing with me what she does and why it's even important to share our story. Dear Yvonne, thank you so much for being here. What do you want to say about yourself? Let's start from there.
Okay, sure. First of all, I want to say thank you for having me. To start with myself, I would start with my first company that I actually built. So the reason why I'm here today is to actually talk about Never Fading Away Art Gallery. So my first company that I actually built was Bringing Life to Seniors. It was in 2017. It was a resource company for seniors. So say for instance, if they needed assistance with housing or, something that they needed assistance with in their area, I would remotely help them. So I actually built that in 2017, excuse me. And then I actually transitioned the company to a care box company for seniors in 2020. And this was actually during COVID, because during COVID, seniors actually had certain restrictions where they couldn't see certain people because of their immune system. So I wanted to create packages, whereas I can ship the packages to them. They can open them up wherever they reside at, and then just have a ball there. So I built that company in 2020. That was transitioned from Bringing Life to Seniors to Amusement in a Box. So still all still all working for seniors and working with seniors. And it's pretty much hence the Forgotten Seniors name for my Carebox Foundation now. So now I'm getting to the Never Fading Away Art Gallery, but I don't want to skip over what's included in the boxes. Just a lot of care essentials, arts and crafts. Let's see, memorabilia that they like to paint, things that they like to keep, things that inspire the spirit. It's so many things that's up in there, and I would love for people to go to the website and actually see it. Now moving to Never Fading Away Art Gallery, which I built in 2023. So there's three different companies that's working for seniors that transition. So this company now I built in 2023. I transitioned this company to a tech art gallery. It specializes in aging artwork and art shows. Uh, this basically it just contributes, and we own our own Carebox Foundation now. So yeah, there. Thank you for putting that up. But so now, Never Fading Away Art Gallery. We are a digital art gallery, pretty much. Everything is online, everything is virtual, and I don't want to skip over. But the proceeds from the artwork that's sold, the proceeds from the NFTs that's sold, it actually goes into the Carebox Foundation so that we can ship free care packages to seniors. So now it's funding itself. So remember, I started from whereas I was just giving the seniors resources, just helping them in their area. And then I started a care box company where, I was shipping care boxes to them during COVID. And then I wanted to basically bring art to the picture because art is something that I grew up on. So it's kind of like I found my calling double time, I would say. So, yeah.
Beautiful, Yvonne. That is really beautiful. All right, so we would like to take a step back to learn more about you because now we see what you do, though we are going to talk more about that. But let's first of all take a step back because we're talking about story. Therefore, we usually we do what is story once upon a time. Okay, Yvonne, tell me, where exactly were you born? What do you remember of your little childhood growing up? What can you share with us?
Okay, say that again.
I mean, what do you remember of your infancy when you were much younger, as we say?
Oh, okay. Well, I was actually born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, by my grandmother. So I would say this kind of like started the foundation for my high respect for elders. Also, that old soul aura that I have and carry. So let's see. As far as about me, I just kind of love what I do. And being raised by my grandmother, it was a very strict household. She was an evangelist as well. So we grew up, based off, raised off Christianity. And it was tough. And she actually passed away when I was 10. And then that's when I went to go live with my mother. So
Sorry about that.
it's a long story, but I'm here now, and I feel like the roots that were planted by my grandmother, during the time that I was with her, it inspired my story now. So now, with my mother, she lives in a nursing home. I would basically take her care packages, and this started like when she got there, like 15 years ago. I would always take her like a box of goodies that I would orchestrate, and just like, oh, I'm gonna put this in there. I'm gonna put this little cute thing in there. I'm gonna buy this so she can paint, things of that nature. Because I just want to. I love to gift, and that actually encouraged me to actually build the Care Box Foundation when I would take boxes of goodies to my mom and some of her friends. So yeah,
You see, I was kind of
that's growth.
suspecting that there must be something relating to grandmother here because I can see the spirit of grandmother around you. You see,
That has to be a great aura.
you see, I grew up with my grandmother too, so I have a lot of respect for my grandmother. In
See?
fact, I've written a book that I titled "Still Owe Me Goodbye," because I was in primary school. I didn't finish primary school before my grandmother died, so I didn't even have the time to. So I basically I'm saying to my grandmother, I didn't have the time to say goodbye because I was still very small. So you should at least wait for me to finish primary school before you die. So I understand the value that even though you are small, because in my case now I was less than 7 when my grandmother died, but the impression I have on my grandmother is very foundational of everything that I do today. Those things that I see her do, they are really very important for me in how I build my identity and how I relate with people. And also have a lot of love for older people and also much younger people in the sense that okay, older people and younger people they are about the same in the sense that they are in a vulnerable situation, you know. So
Yes.
I think they need more love and more care from those of us that are maybe a little bit more agile because we can run, we can do a lot of things, no. And of course, we go back to the same age again by the time we grow older and all of that. So I can see a
Mhm.
lot of value here. So just for the sake of the conversation, at what time did you realize that you were going to concentrate or do more work around elderly people?
Oh, okay. Got the question. I would say back in 2016, I actually went to get my master's certification in gerontology. So, in gerontology is pretty much teaching how to about geriatric care, about the aging process, about stereotypes, how to treat seniors, how to care for them. So, I did that for a year. Got my master's certification in that, and once I started building the company based off seniors, based on that, everything just started like patching in together, like what where I came from, who brought me up, like which my grandmother, it's like everything just started piecing together, and I kind of kept it with like in the geriatric field, and in the aging field. That's what the art gallery is actually focusing on, because we like to basically teach people how to age with intention. So I would say about 8 years ago. That's when
How to age with intention. All right, Yvonne, how do you age with intention? Tell us about that.
I would say in our art shows. So I have aging art shows. Once someone goes to the website, they can easily visit the virtual exhibition. So once they go in there to the back, I pretty much their YouTube clippings of kind of like AI stories about just how. seniors go from, step one to step two, step three to step four, to just in their aging process. Um, I think I lost the question.
No, no, don't worry. The question was actually,
How to
uh,
age with
yeah,
intention.
yeah. How do you age with attention? Yeah.
All right, so you can take aging with intentionality, actually waking up every day and looking for something brand new to, I would say, to fix oneself, to continue the journey on aging, so that, those wicked thoughts won't come into your mind, like, oh, you're a failure, you can't do this, you might as well do this. Aging with intention actually means that you are putting one foot forward, trying every day to live a better life, I would say. And I do believe in a higher power. I believe in God. So of course he wants us to age to like 90, 100 years old. So you have to basically take care of your body in order to do so. And that right there is aging with intention. You can't basically feed yourself something toxic and expect to, to look as beautiful as you once looked when you were 20. Your body doesn't work that way. It's pretty much a machine. So yeah, that's it. And a lot of the stories that I do, it actually tells the individual stories, like a senior documentary, like if they were working in minefields, if they were doing this, and they're actually kind of funny too. So it pretty much teaches you how to age with intention, because you have to go through the years. It teaches you, you can't say, well, I've lived my full life at 15, at 20, at 25. Elder has to reach that elderly age and go through those years to get through those hurdles. And that is aging with intention. And you can't hear that intention from someone who has not yet done it.
All right. But what do you really hear the elderly saying? The purpose of for this question, they are really central to what we do here. In that we love to connect. Connection is about knowing where we are coming from, where we are, and also where we are going. Where we are coming from, depending on how we interpret it, can also be that we have been children, we were born, we grow, and we
Yeah.
are going to grow old when we get to that stage, So, which is just
Okay.
the basic three stages in life. But of course, it can go far beyond that. So, being able to, as a young person, being able to learn from other people, talk about their life, their experiences, is very fascinating, irrespective
Yeah.
of what have been their experience. If we know how rich it is to be able to sit down as an elderly person and talk about how the world was in your time, what you saw growing up, because now you look at maybe the face of the person, they have recalled and all of that.
Mhm.
Because of age, because there is nothing you can do about that. You are 90, 95, you are 100. There are people that are 130, 120, 110. And there is
Mhm.
nothing, you can't just be walking around like every other person anymore, because you can't contest that. That is just the normal way of life. But now you're talking about when you were a young girl, for example, how you used to, what was your fantasy at the time? Or as a young child, how you used to run around? Because people can look around and they say that you can't run around anymore. And even when you talk about running around, you look at the world that is completely changed, completely transformed. Because
Yeah.
if you are like 110 now, you talk about the history of the First and Second World War. Now, because you will say, okay, I was there. For people that are listening to you, they can only imagine how it was, no?
Yes.
You would tell them how there was no car. You would tell them the wristwatch. You would tell them how you didn't have a smartphone. You see, it's
Hmm.
fascinating. I think
And it's even more fascinating when we get to tell our own stories while we're alive,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. So I'm sort of curious about that. What are they telling you that is really fascinating to you when you listen to them? What are they saying about themselves also and about their time that is already consumed?
Well, I'm a documentary type of woman. So I love a story, a great story from start to finish. And I get a whole timeline of your age, starting from maybe birth till, in 90 maybe, and you can give me that within maybe 30 minutes to an hour, that is perfect. But I'm pretty sure a senior cannot do that because they love to talk. I love to listen. But I love the fact that you get to talk to someone who has lived longer than you have, first of all, because if you're calling them an elder, they're older than you, who has lived longer than you, who has seen more things than you have seen, who is kind of like monumental, I'm a type of person, whereas even if there's like an elderly homeless person on the street, everybody has a story. And when you're raised by a senior, they'll always tell you that that person that's right there that's homeless, they can give you word of advice that you will carry throughout your whole entire life, that would be best for you, better than you probably than your friend, because they know more. Just because they're in that situation doesn't mean that they're not, intelligent. So I love the stories of those who has paved ways, who has walked before me, who is still walking, like at 90, 95, who can say, well, God is still keeping me. I woke up today and I only did this. I ran, I did this. They might only have that strength to only do that. But now they're alive to this point to tell the story so that we can also age with intention as they did. So I just find it fascinating. And you have to love life in order to want to age and become an elder, you know?
All right. You have to want to live.
Yeah.
Living is good. Because, because now when you live, you make experience. And life is all about the experience. It's about the connection that we make. It's actually quite fascinating. That is why I love what I do here. Just listening to people, in my little space here, I just stay mute and I'm listening to the story of people. I've done more than 1,000 episodes here and I'm just starting.
Awesome.
So I have been able to learn from a lot of intelligent people,
Mhm.
and it's good. I think it's a good thing. And the other day, we were trying to build an alumni of us growing up in our town in Oromi, the people that we went to school together, which of course, many of us now are now grown up now. I'm more than 46. Of course, that is the same for most of us.
Mhm.
Now we be talking about how we used to be, how it was
Yeah.
for us then. But I am 46. I have people that are far older than me when I go to my town in Urum, people that have been there before I was born, who I can literally sit down and say, tell me your story. It's beautiful to listen to that because that is how we know who we are. That is how we
Yes.
know what this world is. You see, I
Mhm.
was in Nigeria not too like that should be like 2 months ago now. Then I was doing a housewarming in my place. So all
Mhm.
the elders in my place, they were in my village, they were invited to my home. So they were, in fact, it is, I think it's the most beautiful thing I've seen in my recent time.
Yeah.
Having all these elderly people doing their riddles, eating, of course, having fun because it was just about sharing and eating, then all the blessings too. You can't buy that in the market.
Mhm.
Because what I also come to understand from that is when you say, who are you? Who are you is a combination of all of that. In that there are these people that are behind you that make you who you are. Their
Yeah.
story is tied to your story. So
Yes.
when you say, I can walk across anything, you can walk across anything because you are not alone. So this is what
Mhm.
I think is the most important thing or the most important part of listening to story because it helps you to understand that you are not alone. You
Yeah.
are part of a bigger experience when you hear the story of people.
And we
Yeah,
were all put here to inspire one another.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you take away from all the story that you hear from the elder? Because, of course, that is pretty much what we are centering the conversation around now. And because you are working with the elderly, what are you taking away from it? What is your experience in it? Okay, call it your satisfaction.
So what? So pretty much, how does my job fulfill me? Is that the question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Um. Whew. So out of 8 years, I think that it fulfills me mostly because it keeps me closer to God. I am a spiritual person, and I like purpose-driven work. I feel like I saw a cartoon that said, "See a need, feel a need." So I kind of feel like God placed us on this earth to do something that will help another person, that will help another person, that will help another person. He didn't just create us to just help ourselves. That's pretty much, it's just selfish. So I just feel like as long as I stay in this uh, realm of my purpose of helping elders, that it keeps me closer to my heart. Um, gifting to them, listening to their stories, telling their stories, helping them any way that I can, it warms me. So I think that's kind of like giving where my heart posture stands, and my purpose for I guess my purpose work. I just don't feel like I am fulfilling something without helping someone else, if that makes sense. I need to serve in order to feel complete. So, in order for me to feel complete, the realm in my area that God wants me to help in is in the elderly realm. So, I've been doing that for 8 years, and I kind of like, I get it now. Being raised by your grandmother, you connect better to them. And everywhere I go, a senior will sit me down and talk to me for hours. All I ask is for some food. Let's enjoy some food together. So, to answer the question, what keeps me fulfilled is the fact that I get to serve someone, and the serving back to me is that they gave me a smile. They said, they gave me a tear. They said, I really needed that. Or, it's kindness. It doesn't cost anything.
Tell me about the small talk. The small talk. How do you get it to talk to you? What do you do to get it to talk to you? Okay, you are a documentarian and you do documentary, and I do that too. So I understand the story. So tell me about how you approach it.
How would I approach a senior and ask them to tell me their story?
Absolutely.
Just say hello. For me, for me, I promise you, I'm a magnet. If I just say hello, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, you're just so pretty. Let me tell you about this Barbara Jean. Let me tell you about Louis. Let me tell you." And then, of course, I want to respect them. I'm going to sit down and listen to their story. And now I have questions. Now we're going to be here for some time, because now you got me hooked. You got me started. So now the documentary can continue. So I feel like I'm just a magnet for it. And even if I needed to approach them with it, I would just pretty much ask them, "Hey, do you have a few minutes so that we can talk?" Every senior wants to talk. I would say, "What's on your mind? Who made you mad in 1960? What they didn't do in 1975 that you want to talk about now in 2025?" I'm listening. So I think it's bringing that spirit. You always want to have that warm, kind spirit that you take to someone. Even if they don't have it, they'll sense yours, and then it's kind of like a retro. Whereas that positive energy that bounces back off one another, that's what we want to happen.
That is true. Like a
Hmm.
mirror. When you look at a mirror, you see yourself. Somehow, in voodoo religion, it is said that you are me, I am you.
Hmm.
So through you, I see me. Through me, you should see you. And this, of course, is very profound in African philosophy, the African way of life. If you know of the spirit of Ubuntu, in that a man is a man thanks to other men, because without other men, you cannot be a man.
Hmm.
That also go far to explain about the interconnectedness in our life, our community, that
Hmm.
we are supposed to share our life. We are supposed to live together. It is not
Hmm.
just about me, no. It's about us.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Hmm.
is really beautiful.
I like that.
Yeah. Now tell me something, Yvonne. In our place, it is said that when you don't teach the young one the tricks, the society dies. If you know something and you keep it only to yourself, when you die, you are gone. Of course, that is again is based on what we were saying before. That it is not about me; it's about us. Anything
Yeah.
I know how to do, anything I own, doesn't belong to me. It belongs to us. Therefore, if I have a knowledge, the knowledge must be transferred to other people because very soon I will not be able to use it anymore.
Hmm.
What if I know how to carve wood and I'm the best wood carver in the world? I can only carve it for as long as I have strength to carve.
Yeah.
When I get to a certain stage in my life, I cannot even raise tool anymore. If I haven't passed this knowledge to other people, it means that within me, nobody will be carving wood. And very
Hmm.
soon, I will die. I will die with the knowledge. Therefore, I am useless. So I'm talking about how do we pass this knowledge of this pure curiosity to younger people so that they also can be curious about going to investigate their story? Because when you talk to those elders now, you are talking about yourself at the end of the day too. Tell me about that.
Okay, so first of all, the story sounds very detrimental a little bit because it sounds like you are trying to basically control your own life, which you can't, and a lot of us humans do that. So if we feel like, okay, well, I'm not going to pass on this knowledge, and it stops here with me, to actually think that we have the power to do that is ridiculous, because God will get it done. If he will not use you, he will use someone else. So a human to actually think that they've created themselves, I put myself on this planet Earth, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're going to always be bothered in your spirit because you didn't create yourself. You're going to hit every roadblock because God is saying, hey, I created you, tap into me, seek me. So that's why it feels like, that with that story, death was in there. I don't know. You said the wood carver. I kind of like lost the
No, all
rest of
right.
it.
No, it basically
I
was
was saying,
talking about the craft, the knowledge, that everything we own, even the one that we think that we own, it doesn't
yes.
belong to us as a individual. It belongs to us as a community. So there was this
Okay.
time, Dr. Chinua Achebe, of his blessed memory, he was being interviewed on CNN. You know, Dr. Chinua Achebe is one of the greatest African writer.
Yeah.
He's dead now. He's in Nigeria. So he was teaching, I think, whether in New York, but he basically lived the rest of his life in New York for the greater part of his life before his death. So he was being interviewed on CNN, and the young journalist was asking him, "You are the father of African literature," because that is how people were describing him. And Children Achebe was telling him, "Well, I am not the father of African literature. African literature is a collective. We all own this literature. It belongs to all of us. It is not my property." So, in
Okay.
essence, it's basically saying that our life is a collective that we live together. So, what I was saying, the question actually is, how do we pass on this knowledge to the people, or how do we inspire others? Because let me borrow your words now, so that the younger people than you can also be curious, because you will not do this work forever. You will later on pass on the baton to other people. So, that is what I
Right.
was asking.
Okay. So pretty much, how do you create your own legacy
Ah, okay.
to keep going?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So that kind of like goes back to like purpose driven work. So for me, I want to work in my field for as long as I can, even if I'm 85, 90. If you still need to call me, you can call me. So I want to do that for as long as I can. But in order to create legacy, um, there has to be purpose in that. It has to, in order for it to continue to keep going down for 100 years and 100 years, it has to be inspirational. It has to be, you know, that's a tough question if you don't know what your purpose is. So if you don't know like what you were here to do, what inspires you, what do you like to do, how would you know what to leave behind? So that's something that you would have to like seek within in order to find out who you are, who, the like, what is your heart? What does your heart tell you to do? Who does your heart tell you to help? So that's the only way that you would be able to see where would I start to creating my legacy, and how long would it be around for? You can only hope and wish that it'll be around for 100 years, like kind of like Disney. They just celebrated 100 years of being around with cartoons. So I guess that's pretty much that. That's their legacy. So you have to figure out what it is that you like to do and what you can stick to, because consistency is everything. That's what's going to keep that legacy in the earth.
Yeah. So true. So true. All right, Yvonne. People that want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you? They want to learn more about you. They want to buy your artwork, of course. That is good. So tell them how to reach out to you.
Well, you can visit www.neverfadingaway.org. You can also visit us on Instagram under the same name, Never Fading Away Art Gallery. Well, I'm sorry, Instagram, we are actually Never Fading Away. Facebook, we're the same thing as well. So yeah, so you can reach out to us, visit the online store. You can also visit our virtual exhibition on our webpage. So everything is pretty much there. It's kind of like your brick and mortar, all on my website. So it's all virtual. So enjoy yourself. You can grab you some popcorn, grab whatever you need, because it is an actual art show. So it's an actual art exhibit, and you will enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. It'll be a really good, great pleasure talking with you here and learning about what you do in your artwork. And of course, for all of you that have listened to the end of this conversation, we say thank you so much for being here. And please let us know what you take away from this conversation. We are talking about the power of storytelling. Of course, you can hear from Yvonne's work how sharing story help us to be able to connect and also find value in what we do, because what we do that have value in it. We don't just do it. We don't just wake up and start do these things. I remember, for example, how I started this work. I came to Verona in the August of 2004. At the point, I was asking myself, but who are the first Africans here? Why did they leave their place to come to this place? And of course, I have a series of questions that I started to pass on along these people. Many of them have been here 20, 30 years before I came in. And these are really condition everything that I do till date. And like I was telling Yvonne, you heard me, I've done more than 1,000 interviews here and I'm barely even starting. So I find a lot of joy in it. So you need to find also the joy for what you do and why you do what you do. Because when you do, it's never going to be work for you. Every day you wake up, you do it, you are happy. And there is something really fascinating about that eternal satisfaction that you are doing this, knowing that even if you pick $2 billion on the way, you will still do this. You are not
Yeah.
doing it for money. You do it despite it. You do it irrespective of how much you have because you find satisfaction in it. So yeah, we want to inspire you too. Find what you love, but let it add inspiration to the people around you. Thank you so much.